Hi everyone, welcome to the 8th video on Python learning series for network engineers. In this video we'll see how to do SSH from Python to a network device and configure or get the output from the device. I'll be using the library called paramiko here. Paramiko is not installed by default in Python. You can see in here in the website, this is the official site of paramiko. Paramiko is Python implementation for SSH version 2, which provides client and server functionality. And for installing, you can go to the installing section here. They have given the command pip install paramiko. In the previous video I have explained how to install pip and how to install third-party packages. You can go through that video for this details how to use pip. Now I'll create a virtual environment for Python 3.6 so that it won't impact my base machine while installing paramiko. It will install only in that virtual environment. So for that also I have created one video how to create virtual environment and how to install packages inside that. So to create a virtual environment, the command is virtual environment. I'll be using Python 3.6. So I'll give the folder name p3.6. So it is creating a new virtual environment. It is installing some default libraries here. Yeah, it is done. Now it has created a folder called p3.6 here. Now to go to that virtual environment, the command is source p, the folder name 3.6 3.6/bin activate. You can see now I am into the new virtual environment which I created. Here we will check the default libraries installed. Pip list, you can see default only pip setup tool and 𝗣𝘆𝘁𝗍. Now we'll see the dependencies of paramiko. You can see they have mentioned there is some direct dependencies for paramiko to work: cryptography, bcrypt, 𝗣𝘆𝘁𝗵𝗆, all these. Once you execute this pip install paramiko, it will install even these packages as well. So we'll install paramiko first. Pip install paramiko. Yeah, it is installed paramiko. Here you can see other dependencies also it has installed: 𝗣𝘆𝘁𝗆, cryptography, bcrypt, then some more dependencies. Now we'll check the pip list. You can see all the dependencies are installed, and we will even verify that from the Python interpreter. So I'll go to Python. Here I'll type help modules. Here you can see the paramiko. Yeah, I'll come out of Python. Now we'll start coding. I'll create a file in my Python demo folder. I'll call this as 05.3.6 paramiko.SSH.py. In the previous video I have created a telnet library folder. If you want to see this details, you can watch the previous video. I'll open the file. Yeah. So first we need to import the libraries. So I'll import paramiko. Another library which we are going to use is time. Then one more library we need to use, that is getpass. Getpass we can import in multiple ways. Either you can give import getpass, or you can do from getpass import getpass, because inside getpass library another class called getpass is a, I have showed it in the previous video. If you want to see the details of getpass library, the command is doc getpass. So you can see this library is, this module or library is using for prompt for a password with echo turned off, so that when we enter the password it won't be printing it in the terminal. And another library which we are using is time. So I'll show some details about time. Time also is a default library which is installed in Python. So to check the details of time library, you can give it in this way. So this module provides various functions to manipulate time values. The main function which we are going to use in this script is sleep, because this will add a delay while executing the command. Because when we execute the command in a device, network device, we need to wait for the output. So they will add a delay and then we'll print the output. If you execute the command and immediately if you try to print the output, it will not be printing the whole output. So we'll be mainly using the sleep function in this script. So some example, another example, if you want to see, ascii time, this function, what it will do, it will convert the time to a readable format. We'll see that. Then another function which you can refer is gm time. Converts time into UTC format. So we'll see those things now. I'll go to Python. I'll import the module. This is just for understanding the time module I'm doing. Actual code we'll be writing in this file itself. This is just a demo of time module. Import time. Now I'll add a delay here. The command is time.sleep. I'll add a delay of 5 seconds. So now what will happen? It will wait for 5 seconds. Then again it will come to the it will come back to the Python interpreter. So if you add 10 seconds, it will wait for that much time. So same command we'll be using in our script actually. So once we execute the show command or any other command, we'll be waiting for a certain period of time for output to get generated. Now another function is we'll do a print time dot see time. It will print the current time, and if you want to see the UTC time, now the command is gm time. It will print it in this format. Okay, now we'll go back to again the module paramiko. So we'll start writing the code. Next we'll create some variables for our script. So first we'll create a variable called ip. First we'll make it as input. will ask user to input manually. Enter IP, will show a message. Then for username and password also, username, enter username, enter password. Okay. Now we'll create an object for initiating SSH connection. So I'll call this as session. You can give any name here. Paramiko dot, the class name is SSH client. So to see the details of that, we will go to the Python doc of paramiko. So we'll search for class SSH client. Yeah. So what it is saying, it is a representation of session with SSH server. So it will initiate, and this is one of the example. Then we'll be doing a connect, and in connect also we'll be giving some parameters like this. Here we'll be defining username, password, then allow agent, look for key, all these values. So now I have an object called session. Now next is session dot set underscore missing underscore host key policy. See, and auto add policy. So what it is doing, we'll see what it is doing. Usually if the host is not trusted, or if you don't have the certificate installed, the trusted certificate installed on your machine for the particular host, you will get a SSL error. So to avoid that error, and by manually adding the certificate, we can give this command. Usually in the secure environment, it is recommended to use a trusted certificate. You need to install a trusted certificate in the host, and you need to do, since it is a testing environment, there should not be any issue. For these details, you can either look into this file py.doc, or you can even go to Paramiko's official site. Here we'll be using this for a client functionality. So for that, we'll go to the document, API doc, here client. So we'll search for that missing host key policy. We'll copy this command, search for that. Yeah. So it will check the server's host key against system host key file. If you don't give this command, you will get SSH exception. You can see here. Now another command is session.connect. You have seen that in the py doc, and even here you can see dot, we'll search for .connect. Yeah, this function Here you can mention the IP, port number, username, from where you're going to use the username. All these values, we'll configure that as well here. So inside that, first value will give IP, so it will be using the IP which we are entering here. Then port number, it is going to be 22, default port we are going to use. Then username equal to username. This username is our variable, so if we give another name here, you need to change it here as well. Then password equal to password. Another thing, look for case equal to, we'll give false here. We won't be looking for key in the local machine. Another command is allow agent false. Now these two commands we'll see here, SSH agent. So when we use our local installed certificate for authentication, we can use SSH agent. Anyway, we are not using that, we are using username and password, so we don't have to give that. Here you can see the command is the bit lengthy. What we can do, we'll see the style guides recommendation for this. So we'll come here, indentation here. So what they are saying is, so continuation line should align wrapped elements either vertically using Python's implicit line joining inside parenthesis. So we'll be using this method. So what they are saying here, and there should be a further indentation should be used to clearly distinguish itself as a continuation line. So we'll be using this method because our indentation starts from here, and this comma separated, we'll put it in the end of each line. I'll expand this. Then so that will be in a readable way. Even if you write it as single line, it will work. Yeah, now it will consider as a single block. And about indentation, I explained in the previous video. So here, even if I type tab, it will convert my tab into spaces, so there is no issue. About indentation also, even they recommend 4 spaces per indentation level. So they're not recommending to use it in this way, so because you cannot identify the block here, so it will be much more readable way. Yeah. Now we need to invoke the shell. Actually, for that I'll create another object called device_access. And so that will have this, we'll be using the same session dot invoke _ session. So it will open an interactive shell of the device. Now next command is device access dot send will be sending the command into the shell. So the command can be, this is Python 3, so we need to give B here, we need to mention this as a bytes. Terminal length 0. So another command I'll give show version. Then once we execute the show version, we need to add some delay here, as I have mentioned about the time module. So time.sleep, I add a 2 seconds delay. Once we execute the command, then another object I'll call output equals device access. We'll use this device access dot, we'll give a value here. What this receive does is it will receive that much byte of data in a single session. We'll give maximum, we'll give 65,000. Yeah. Now we'll print the output in the console itself, in the terminal itself. So print output means this output which we have mentioned here, output dot, will give decode. I have mentioned about decode also in the previous video. ASCII. Then the paramiko is recommending to use if you initiate a SSH, you need to close that. So this session will be closing in the end. SESSION.close. Now script is completed. We'll check for syntax errors. So you can see I have, instead of input, I have given IM. So we'll change that to input. Line by line will verify. Paramiko. So SSH client. In the command we need to add a /n. So I'll be adding this command, the complete script, in the description field. You can copy and paste it from here, there, and test it. /n. Yeah, other than that everything looks good. So now we'll try to execute the script. Python 05 IP 10.10 as my router IP, username admin, password admin. It was not invoke session, need to invoke shell. We'll execute it again. Yeah, I got the output. Now we'll hardcode the username and password here. IP 10.10.10, so that we don't have to give again. But in production you need to, it is better to manually ask username and password. And any script, I would suggest you to test it in GNS3 or simulation before testing it in production. Username and password admin. Show run, and I'll reduce the sleep time to 0.2. Now we'll see. So you can see in 0.2 second I got only till here. Multiple factors are affecting this. One is the connectivity to the device, and another is performance of the device. Everything matters. We'll try to give 2 seconds. Yeah, in 2 seconds I'm getting the complete output. We'll check it in 1 second. And we'll try to reduce this bytes as well. Okay, we'll give it 2 seconds itself here and reduce the bytes to some 10 bytes, then we'll see what will happen. Yeah, see, it shows only this much output, so we have to give maximum. We'll change to 1 second. Yeah, even 1 second it is not coming. Yeah, we'll change to 5. Yeah, I'm getting the complete output. But there is another library called netmiko, which actually simplifies the SSH connection to the network devices, and you don't have to write all this wait time and multiple session connect and all, which will be simplify significantly actually the code, and you can execute the show command, you can configure it in a simple way. In the next video I'll explain some for loop statement, and we'll configure certain things using for loop in a Cisco device. Then after that we'll move to netmiko and do some of the scripting. Okay, I hope this video was helpful for you to understand basic SSH to a network device and configure. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.